This is the home of the Sooners, the birthplace of champions, where a legacy of winning is proven with a dynasty of championships. This is Oklahoma football. The grand history of Oklahoma football can be traced back to its beginnings in 1895 in the university's first game against the Oklahoma City Town team. Here, just north of present-day Holmberg Hall, Oklahoma football wrote the first chapter of its illustrious journey on an empty Prairie field. Soon thereafter, the team's field was moved to the east side of the oval. In 1905, first-year head coach Benny Owen sent his squad out to play on a third plot of land, just west of the present-day McCaslin Fieldhouse. This field would soon be known as Boyd Field, in honor of the school's first president. Although just 10 years old, Oklahoma's football program had found a place to call home, complete with a 500-person grandstand. Boyd Field remained the home of Oklahoma football for nearly 2 decades, amassing over 100 victories on the Oklahoma turf. In November of 1922, stadium bleachers collapsed, and the Daily Oklahoman decried, "Here's why Oklahoma University must have an athletic stadium." By 1923, a new stadium was under construction. Behind student support in 1925, the Board of Regents would appoint trustees to raise funds for a combined stadium and student union project. The renderings, designed by famed architect Solomon Layton, put the Sooners' new home in an orchard west of Boyd Field. But the plan was abandoned after Benny Owen suggested raising separate funds for stadium and student union plans. With plans for a new stadium in place, Oklahoma's gridiron was moved one final time and played host to its first game on October 20th, 1923. By 1925, just 7 years after the end of the First World War, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium was born, a 16,000-seat grandstand. The facility was erected at a cost of just under $300,000. By homecoming of that season, the hallowed ground was christened as Owen Field. By 1929, east side seats were completed, raising the capacity to nearly 32,000. By the late 1930s, the realities of the Great Depression and Dust Bowl era in Oklahoma took hold. Oklahoma's famed stadium turned into a makeshift dorm, renovating rooms on the second floor into living quarters to help a struggling student population get by. In 1947, new head coach Bud Wilkinson brought a fresh excitement to Sooner Nation, and a 1948 victory over Missouri set a new attendance record of 39,000. The momentum for Oklahoma football was backed by OU President George Cross, who pushed for expanded seating at the stadium, and in 1948 saw the movement of the track east of Jenkins Avenue. Seats then filled the space vacated by the track, and the north end of the stadium was enclosed, along with a new press box that brought the capacity to 55,000. It wasn't enough. 60,000 Sooner faithful showed up for the Santa Clara game in 1949, turning hundreds away at the gate. A new electronic scoreboard lit up as the Sooners captured their first undefeated season in 30 years. 1957 saw the first bleachers added in the south end of the field, as capacity reached 61,000 for the first time. The 70s welcomed the next change to Owen Field as the wishbone offense brought artificial turf to Owen Field. The unstoppable offensive attack spurred more renovations. At a cost of $5.7 million, a new upper deck and press box were added to the west side of the stadium, making room for 71,000 fans for each game of the Sooners' national championship season. Permanent seating in the south end zone was installed prior to 1980, along with coaches' offices and new equipment rooms. By 1994, change was in the air. Natural grass had returned to Owen Field, and a stadium master plan was approved by the Board of Regents in June. After adding suites to the west side of the stadium, lights were added in 1997 alongside the first video board. In April of 1999, the Barry Switzer Center opened just as new head coach Bob Stoops was assuming his new office. By 2002, President David Morin was leading the charge on another major renovation. Throughout 4 major phases, the dynamic of Oklahoma Memorial Stadium was changed dramatically. Behind generous gifts from the Gaylord family, the stadium was renamed the Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. A stadium deck on the east side, along with suites, were added, while the north end zone's facilities were also renovated. Coaches' offices, locker rooms, training spaces, and even a 166-foot wide video board were also among the countless upgrades that helped to create our Palace on the Prairie. This is the home of Sooner Nation, where all Americans are raised and Heismans live on. This is where the country's best fans meet on autumn Saturdays. This is Oklahoma. This is our home.